Mark, you still on there?
I am waiting patiently, Chris. How are you?
Oh, cool, man. I thought you were just going to chime in.
No, I don't want anyone interrupting me, so I let everyone go.
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready? I've got some questions for Simon.
Okay. Hi, Marcus.
Hello, Simon. It's good to finally talk to you.
Hello, Mark.
Can you hear me okay?
Shall I call you Marcus?
You can call me anything you desire, Simon. You can call me Mark. You can call me Marcus. You can call me asshole. I've been called them all.
Cool.
Which includes, first link I'm going to drop into the chat was a link that showed up in your old forum. And if you take a look, it says this is a temporary thread which will be instantly removed once this question gets resolved. It is dedicated to Simon JCP. This is me now talking. Simon is the 15, 16, or 17-year-old person in Canada, known as the Great Lord Sukasa, who work I've always prized highly, who is online right now. And then there's Simon. You once teamed up with Marcus Allen, who has the MP3 on his website still, and then there's a link. And then you continued with the Cretnus? I think that's Cretnus. Assumption of Marcus Allen are basically that since I live in Rome, I must be a Jesuit shill, and since my father, who passed away in 1990, worked for the United Nations, actually the UNHCR specifically, he also must be a murky guy. I see that on your YouTube channel that you still link to Truth in 7 Minutes, What Gives, and then in the next post you say that there was some kind of private message that you had, and you have respect for Simon, so you didn't reveal the comments. And then you continued with, let's wait and see what this idiot, Marcus Allen, MP3 interview, which infests the internet. So here's
I was cross with you, Marcus. May I talk now? I was cross with you because that was a pretty stupid assumption to make. Because I live in Rome, I must be a Jesuit, and because my father worked for the United Nations, he must be a spook. That was a bit stupid, wasn't it? Why don't you, just say it now? It was a stupid assumption. Now, what kind of logical thinking process made you say these things?
I don't remember saying that you were a Jesuit. Did I say that? Because if I did, that was wrong. I don't remember saying that, though.
Well, on that show that I listened to entirely with Lord Sukasa, whatever happened to him anyway? Simon JCP. Anyway, I listened to it, and you were doing assumptions on my identity, and saying I was really spooky because I live in Rome, and my father, who used to work for. He didn't work exactly for he worked for a division of the United Nations called the High Commission for Refugees.
Yep.
And so he went all over the world, where people were in dire straits, refugees, like in Angola, where Namibia was being bombed, so there were Namibians going into Angola in the jungle, and he was in the jungle and worked on the field. He was a very atypical UN worker. Well, he actually did some good. He was a very good man. So I was a bit, I was offended by, in the name of my father, because you were calling him like a spooky guy. And he died in 1990. What could he possibly have to do with 9/11 or influencing me? He died in 1990. He was 59 years old, or 60. He was just 60. It made me a bit angry. I thought you were stupid, and I called you an idiot. Yes, I did.
That's okay. My son, who's 5 years old, actually calls me stupid poop, so I'm used to that. So I'm cool with that. But here's the deal. See, we're always what we do here is we're trying to figure out who's controlled opposition. In other words, who can we trust? And yes, you're right. When I first
I do it all the time.
Right, we both
do it all the time.
So
I'm being faded by shields on my forum. I know that guy, those guys.
Right.
Marcus. I know the problem.
Okay, so here's the deal. I recorded this actually 3 years ago, almost to the week, in January of 2009. It wasn't until a year and something later that you evidently heard about this, and you posted on your old forum. But here's the question. If you listen to, I'm assuming that you've listened to my other audios too, or was that the only one you listened to?
Ooh, pretty much, I think. I haven't no. Maybe another one or two.
Okay. I'm actually guessing it's more because I track IPs and I was able to track your IP. And it was actually a lot more than just one or two. But let's put that aside. The bottom line is we agree on almost everything. And what's weird is you would think that after hearing this, you would contact me and try to work things out. But instead, we've tried to reach out. I've had several people who we all, in this little talk show thing that we do, we don't believe in groups. We all try to reach out to you. And every single time you said, I'm not going to talk to anyone. In fact, this is your first audio interview you've ever done, right?
No, I've done other interviews with the radios, independent radios in the States even.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
And which haven't had much coverage, but I've been presenting at the McClues all over Italy. I'm pretty, everybody can contact me very easily. I put all my contacts on the forum, Skype, my email, even my address, my phone numbers, everything. You could have contacted me. I don't know how. It's not easy to. I didn't know how to contact you, but also I wasn't really very interested after what I heard.
Well, actually, no. Actually, that's not true.
Let me talk, Marcus. Let me talk.
I just went an hour and 15 minutes, and you got to talk the whole time.
Sorry. But let me just say one more thing.
Okay.
The first time I heard about you was at a Paula Gloria show.
Yep.
And you were saying all nice things about September Clues.
Uh-huh.
And suddenly you flip-flopped and said I was a spooky guy. Why did you do that?
Well, I'll quote what you just said about 25 minutes ago. You said you changed your mind. I changed my mind, too.
Okay, cool.
I mean,
so let's be friends.
Here's the deal. I have extensive notes of what I talked about in that audio, and is there anything in that audio that I said that was wrong?
In that audio, everything was wrong. I mean, yeah. Yeah,
okay, I'd be happy to answer them one by one. What did I say that was wrong? And if I'm wrong, I'll admit the mistake.
I had the feeling you were coaxing these two young guys. What was it, Simon and Alex, whatever?
Yep, Alex.
You were talking. It sounded to me you were like, driving them to think bad things about me.
But Simon, you're not answering. You're not answering my question. What is it? By the way, it wasn't me who came out with those points. I just happen to be a pretty good speaker. They're a little bit shy. They're very young. They're the ones who fed the points to me. In fact, I still have the notes from 3 years ago in front of my face. They gave me a top 11 things about what to talk about, and I just asked them to expand on it. That's all.
So what kind of things did they present to you?
Well, they gave me your real name, Simon Heighton. Do you disagree that that's your real name?
No, it's my real name, and I posted that on the forum ages ago, and I tried to explain it in every way I can. Simon Heighton is my birth name. Simon Shack is my artist name, which I've had since 1993.
Okay.
And I'm registered as Simon Shack in the Musicians Union in Sweden. And it's just like, and I've also written several times this example. What if, I mean, I'm not David Bowie, but what if David Bowie started doing 9/11 research? Would he call himself David Robert Jones? That would be spooky. He would call himself David Bowie because people know him with that name. And every single public thing I've done with my music, I've been called Simon Shack. That's my name now. Everybody calls me Simon Shack.
I have absolutely no issue with you using a different name. In fact, Shack is Norwegian for Heighten, correct?
Shack is actually, Hitten means small hut. And
right.
Shack is smaller than a hut. It's like, like saying smaller than a hut, shack. And it was coined by a jazz musician from America, actually, from Colorado, a black guy who came here and he said, Hitten, Heighten, how do you pronounce that? Hitten? So I don't like that name. I'll call you Shack. That was coined by an American black jazz musician. He gave me this name. So I said, oh, that's cool. I'll call myself Shack then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have really. That's really a minor point that we were bringing up. The major points were stuff like you did work for the European Space Agency. You got paid 1,600 euros to do it. Really?
Yes, I did a soundtrack for the European Space Agency, which is just down the road, and I know people who work there. And I regularly go for Christmas to a Norwegian guy who works there, and he always says I'm crazy, I'm a nutter, and but we are friends, and we always embrace ourselves after arguing long nights. And he works there. He makes lots of money. And another French colleague of him who likes my music came to my house and said, "Hey, why don't you do a soundtrack for us?" And cool. So I did a soundtrack for the. I have the poster here on my studio. It's the Cryosat, a satellite called Cryosat, and they gave me 1,600. No, it was hold on. It was 1,600,000 lire, which is 800 euros.
Okay, I'm sorry, 1,800 or 800 euros.
800 euros. Yeah, to do that soundtrack. It was like 2-minute soundtrack, so I made myself, well paid for that. And yeah, that I've been working for the ESA. I mean, like an external musician to do soundtracks for ESA, of course.
Okay, I'll post a link to.
Why should I deny it? Why should I have told this thing if it was a spooky thing?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if I were sitting here, and because again, we have a lot of very similar ideas about almost everything in life being fake, and I'm constantly on NASA as being this Freemasonic. It's basically Hollywood South. It's really nothing happens like we're told. If I'm sitting there railing against NASA, next thing you know, someone finds out that I got a check for $1,800 from NASA. That's a bit suspicious.
Okay.
Don't you think?
Okay, but that's, I accepted that I know that this was in 2003, maybe. I did this. I had no idea of what ESA was, or if it was spooky or anything. Mm-hmm. I just took the job and I ran away with the money. That's all. Mm-hmm. So I need money to survive,
Let's get even spookier. You have admitted that you've done work for the Bin Laden family as a sponsorship deal for your brother's Indy sports car racing, correct?
Yeah, okay. So have you read the post I made about that?
I did.
Okay, so did you understand how it actually happened? It's an amazing thing. It's far out. I agree. My elder brother. He wanted to become a famous racing driver, so he was a very good sponsorship hunter. We had no money in the family, so he was, really working hard at finding money. And at the time, we lived in Geneva, in Switzerland. He met some Arab guys, and then he ended up meeting the brother of Bin Laden, Islam, in London. He had a construction company. He made buildings in London. And for one or two races, he got some money from Islam Bin Laden, and I had to actually cut out the Bin Laden stickers to stick on the car. And I even got a stamp with the Arabic writing. It was really very hard to do with I had a cutter, little box cutter, which I used to make the Arabic spelling. Yeah, it's amazing. It sounds almost far out, but that's the amazing stuff that is happening in my life.
Right, but that's kind of my point. Is the point?
Yes, and somebody chatted here, but Simon now says he hasn't got any contact with Mary anymore. Yes, I have absolutely no contact with Mary because he's a jerk. I'm completely estranged from my brother. Because he's a money sucker. He has stolen money from my own mother and keeps it for himself. So I'm not talking to him. That's the plain truth. I'm saying this to you as I'm saying this to my friends. Everybody knows this. And both of my brothers, actually, I have two elder brothers. Both of my brothers I've lost contact with. One lives in Sweden, Mario, and the other lives in Norway. And I live in Italy.
And it's interesting that you segued right into that. One of the things we talked about is that your LinkedIn address showed that you were living in Oslo, Norway, and next thing you know, you're literally a stone's throw away from the Vatican.
I've never, ever said I lived in Norway. Never. I always. The only thing Norwegian I've stated is on my YouTube channel. I'm Norwegian. I mean, nationality Norwegian. I've never written anywhere that I live in Norway.
I just posted a link where you said you did. I'm posting a link right now. Unfortunately, it's been taken down. But if I'm sure someone does an archive.org, here's the link that showed that you were in Norway from your GarageBand.com account.
Yeah, well, that's back in. So what? I live in Norway? It doesn't say I live in Norway, does it?
It said Oslo. Is Oslo in Norway?
But
I'm not a geography buff, but I'm pretty sure that it is.
Oh, come on.
But again, that's minor stuff. So when I put this audio out,
it really is minor stuff. I mean, I have never been living in Norway. I've been there every summer of my youth because we had a small island there. And there is no reason why I should have ever stated that I lived in Norway, because if that's on GarageBand, I probably typed into when I registered, I said Norway, Oslo, or whatever. But I never stated I lived in Norway, Margaret.
It was actually in your LinkedIn account too. I just don't have that link handy, but if you want, I can track it down.
Yeah, but anyway, so what? I mean, I now say I've been living in Italy since I came back from England where I was doing graphic design and cartoons and photography, and then I came to Italy. I have never been living in Norway. I was born in Sweden.
But this is why I'm confused. Why you were up? This is why I was confused.
I can tell you, if you like, I can tell you the whole story of my life. If that interested you.
I'm really not interested. I'm not really interested in that.
Okay, so why
Hold
are you hung up about it?
Simon, I let you speak for an hour and 43 minutes without any interruption. Can I just ask you a few more questions?
Sure.
Yes?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, okay, so let's get back to this. You called me a cretin and idiotic and whatever terms. But was there anything, as I'm pointing point by point here, the things that I brought up in that audio, you've confirmed is true. There's not a single one that you've denied.
What do you mean?
Let me repeat it. Every one of the points that you said that I was an idiot and a cretin and whatever words you said that this audio was ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. And then I said to you just 10 minutes ago, was there anything in the audio that was wrong? And you said everything, and I've gone point by point with you, the things that I talked about, and you've admitted they've been true.
Like what? I mean, I must be Jesuit because I live in Rome.
No, I never said you. I never said you were a Jesuit. I never said that. Never.
All right. So what did you say? I mean, you didn't say nice things about me, did you?
It doesn't matter if I said any nice things. I talked about.
Close to two young guys to thinking that there was some kind of spook.
Okay, obviously this is not going anywhere. So I have a couple questions and then I'll hang up.
Come on.
You just admitted 25 minutes ago that you made a mistake, and now you're saying that everything about 9/11 was fake, correct?
So I did mistakes along the way. Yes, I said that, and then I just got sharper on the fact that everything of the imagery is fake. Yes, it took me some time.
Okay. With that said, does that mean that this, and I'll post a link into the chat, that this, in your September Clues FAQs, talking about missiles being used on 9/11, does that mean that that's not correct?
Let me see.
Actually, you don't even have to see. I mean, your whole new series of September Clues completely alluded to the idea that missiles were used to take down the buildings. Do you still feel that way, even though 25 minutes ago you admitted that you were wrong?
No, Marcus, no. I never alluded that missiles took down the buildings. I speculated that maybe they used an AGM-158, which has the same shape, same silhouette as a 767, to generate eyewitnesses, which would have said, well, I saw a flying object crashing into the tower. Yeah, it looked like a plane. That's all I said. And I still think, 50-50 that maybe it was a missile or maybe nothing at all. I'm more inclined to think that they didn't even have to use a missile. But when people come up and say, well, I have a friend who saw something crashing in the tower, maybe it was a missile then that they used. But what do I know? It's just a speculation. The missile thing is up in the air even now. It could have been, it could not have been.
And you've been quoted in the past saying it might have been a stealth bomber too, correct?
No. Stealth bomber, no.
You never said stealth bomber?
No.
Okay.
Stealth bomber, I don't even know what do you mean? What do you mean? Stealth bomber, no. I never written those two words anywhere.
Apparently you said that a stealth bomber or missile caused the hole in the World Trade Center Building 6.
No.
Okay.
Where do you have that from?
I'd be happy to track that down and email that to you when I find it.
Well, you won't find it because I'm sure I haven't said stealth bomber anywhere.
So my main question after all this is, you've now come to the conclusion, as have I, that there's probably not a single frame of real video, that it was probably geospatial, and this is me saying this, it was probably geospatial software that created the entire 9/11 scenery in New York, which of course is the same technology used by Google Earth to create the appearance of this attack on 9/11. Would you pretty much agree with that?
What's geospatial? What's that?
It's the same software that's used in Google Earth.
Have you ever seen Hollywood films? Do you see that they can recreate any ambient they like? If they're going to film in Los Angeles, they can make it look like New York. That's what it is. It's Hollywood.
Okay, fine.
They just made a film. You don't need any geospatial stuff.
Okay, so fine. Let's go with that. So you're agreeing pretty much with me that there's not a single frame of real video, live video that happened that was widely distributed by the media on 9/11, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If that's,
I don't think there is a single.
If that's true, and I'm glad you said yes. If that's true, that means that your entire series of September 11th is as if you were analyzing a cartoon, but presenting it as real.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's a cartoon.
Yeah, but I've never once.
I'm saying this is not real.
I've never heard you once in any of your September Clue series saying, I'm analyzing a cartoon.
Well, I wrote cartoons in some other. Hold on, some other episode. What? So what about that? I didn't write cartoon or.
No, what I'm saying is you're giving the impression, which is very suspicious to me, quite frankly and respectfully, that you're giving this idea that 9/11 happened. You were analyzing real video, when in fact you were analyzing a cartoon. That was like me looking at the Jetsons and saying this is what happened on 9/11 and presenting it as real. You don't understand that?
Well, I think I'm the only one in the entire research community. I think that the implication of my research is that it is a cartoon, but I haven't used that word because it's sounds a bit funny, and people will maybe think it's stupid to say cartoon, but I believe it's like a cartoon, of course. But doesn't that come out from what I'm doing? That it's actually, it's fake video. It's animation. Animation. I'm using animation as a word everywhere on the forum. You can see we're talking about it's animation imagery. It's cartoons.
Right.
Why are you hooked up on the word? I'm not using so much cartoons as I'm using animation.
Well, because I think words are incredibly important. I believe.
But animation, I think, it's more. It sounds a bit better than cartoons because animation can be more realistic than a cartoon. Okay, cartoon is drawings. So that's why I'm using animation. But what's the problem with that, Markus?
I just
what's in your
I
mind?
come away.
How does your mind function? I mean, really, how does your mind function to accuse me of not saying that they are cartoons? I've been demonstrating this for years, and the implication is that everything we've seen is fake. So you can call it a cartoon, you can call it animation.
I think you're now saying that everything is fake, but up throughout all of your September Clues videos, you have never come out and said, I'm analyzing faked video to show you that things were faked completely from start to finish. I've never heard that.
I took it step by step, and I told you before, I told Chris before, when we talked before, I made some mistakes. I could have gone, faster, right on the point and saying it was a cartoon, but I wanted to go softly, do the soft approach. I didn't have all the answers then, as I don't have them now, but they're more clear now. And today, yes, I would say that everything is a cartoon, if you like. I say it now. You can record it.
Okay.
Everything we have from 9/11 is fake, which means animation or cartoon.
Okay.
Choose the word you like.
I have a couple more questions, and then I am done. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Who is Maxime Conradi?
Well, it's a bit, he's always said, I don't want to use my real name, but it's hoi polloi. I'm sure he won't hate me for saying this. But he just wants to be, to keep his name free from, he lives in America like you. And maybe you're bolder and you're using your real name. I think Markus Allen is your real name, right?
No, it's not. It's actually Mark Allen? It's Mark Allen Goldstein.
Oh, okay. Why did you use your real name then?
Because I was born a Jew, and I didn't want to be a Jew, and until I moved out of my parents' house where I had no choice to be a Jew, I had to do the bar mitzvah thing, and I had to keep my last name. But the day I moved out of my house, I dropped my name, and the word Marcus comes from when my wife is pissed off at me. She always says, Markus Allen, you bastard, blah, blah, blah. And that just stuck, so that's the name I use on my book. So I write books for a living. So
cool. So I want to do a deal of this. And now learn that your name is Goldstein.
Yes,
that's okay for me. It's cool.
Again, I have no problem.
I'm not going to attack you now because of this.
I have no problem with people changing their names. There's a couple good reasons to do it, but I want to get to my final question. You say that you've known, I think you've backed off on this. Actually, I have two more questions. You say that you personally knew someone who died on 9/11. Is that true?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
You said that you personally knew someone who died on 9/11, and that's why you did September Clues videos. Is that true?
No, okay. Absolutely not.
Okay, I wasn't clear on that.
Where did you read this?
I got that from Simon, actually.
No, I don't know anybody who died on 9/11.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't make any sense to me either, but instead of making wild assumptions, I thought I would just ask you about it.
Listen, if we are on the same boat, you now need to tell me, where does this bullshit come from?
I just told you, Simon from Canada told me that.
That I knew somebody who died on 9/11? No, never, ever said such a thing.
Okay. And here's my final question. Who are the people who are doing all this to us? Do you know who it is?
Well, I tend to keep from, doing a list of names of who is behind it, but I have my own ideas. Yes, I would like one day to have a trial and have these people lined up, but don't you know more or less who they are? Yourself?
I have a very good idea who they are, but I wanted to know who you are. And I know you can't say, but if you could say, who is it?
I'm sure the Bush administration had something to do with it, okay? First of all. And then lots of other wheeler and dealers around that, and maybe and other important people in different countries too. I mean, as I said, the whole media, the whole world media is corrupt, and goes along with their hoax. Because I've never read a single article in the whole Western media that says that 9/11 is an inside job in a serious manner. So the thing is really, many powerful people are behind it.
So the Jews, the Freemasons, the Sufis, the secret societies, the Club of Rome, all of these trilateral commissions, Club of 300, all those people are just not involved at all. It's George Bush.
All the people you mentioned are probably involved in some way in different levels: Freemasonry, Jews, Jesuits. Just a big cabal of people. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry I can't, offer you my precise list of culprits. I'm not into that. I'm into looking. I'm into video and showing how they did it, and who did it is the next step. I hope other people will help finding out.
Mm-hmm. Chris, no more questions, Your Honor.
Does that make me, sorry, but does that make me suspicious because I don't put my finger on the exact people who are behind this? I don't know.
Well, I know that in your forum you've pointed to the Jews a lot. And believe me, I'm no fan of the Jews. That's why I'm no longer Jewish. But, I mean, to point to the Jews is just ridiculous.
Okay, I haven't done it. I've been very careful not to go into these kind of discussions. Oh, it's the Jews or the Jesuits or the Freemasons, or I'm not into that stuff. Although I have my own, of course, when you see that so many people involved have certain affiliations and things, you start, looking at one side or more than the other. I would like to say one thing now. I suspect very heavily at least one guy who I would probably think he's a Jew because his name is Stephen Rosenbaum, and he used to have a company called Camera Planet. And He's a guy who's been published on YouTube, lots of videos, and they're all fake. And what he says? He put up an ad in Vanity Fair and all over New York, asking amateur videographers to give him their videos. And now he says he has a collection of 500 hours of amateur videos, which is worth $3 million. Well, this guy is lying, at the least. And he must know that he's lying because the videos are fake. And he owned a big studio in New York with the latest Avid equipment. He could have done all these videos himself. Okay, and now he's working with the National Museum of Ground Zero. And he's totally in it. He's into it. I think the guy exists, and I think he's there, and he's just playing, in our face. Remember his name, and try to contact him. Call him, Stephen Rosenbaum. He used the Camera Planets, but then he let fall down because he said They lost money, and so he's trying to sell his collection of amateur videos for $3 million. Can you believe that? So, yes, I have one guy I point my finger on, and that's this guy. But there are many more. Okay?
Thank you, Simon. It was good talking to you.
You're welcome.